Hi everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to solve removing stars from a string. So this is a medium problem, although I would say it's quite easy once you see the approach that we're going to take. So let's read the problem. So you're given a string S, which contains stars. So the stars is a simply character that it's like an asterisk like this, all right? And then it says, well, in one operation you can choose a star in S, and you have to remove the closest non-star character to its left, as well as remove the star itself. We must return the string after all stars have been removed. So for instance, if we have S equals the string here on the example, so we have lead, then here we have the stars, 1 and 2, then we have my code, and then another star here, and the E of code. So basically we're going to iterate through the entire array, right? So we go here, okay, that's the character, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Here we're encounter the first star, and so we encounter this character right here. What it's going to do is it's going to remove the previous element, right? So I'm gonna get this element and I'm going to remove it, okay? And then also notice that we also remove the star itself, so we'll also get rid of this element right here, and then we'll continue iterating. We'll find this guy right here, we see another star, then we simply remove the previous element, so this was E, we remove this guy, and then we also remove the star itself, because we have already used it, I guess. We have already processed the star, right? COD, that's okay. There's no star, so they can stay. Here we have another star. We remove the previous element, so we remove this D right here. So we'll get like that. And notice how the output array is nothing else but Leetcode, I guess. So this would be the new array. So, or new string that we must return as a string. Okay, so that's kind of the idea. I think this is pretty simple problem. Like the concept itself is pretty easy, but there's a few different approaches that we can use. You know, the naive approach, the brute force approach, would be to simply, as you encounter the stars, right? So you simply use the string.remove method, and then you get rid of the star, right? And we get rid of the current star and the previous element. The issue with this is that removals in Python, they cost a lot, right? I mean, this wouldn't be linear, because basically you first need to see where the string is, where the character is in the string, then remove it. Then that's a pretty costly operation, that's an expensive operation. We don't want to be using s.remove each time. And so I guess we can think it differently, right? What if instead of modifying the string in place, right? What if instead of modifying this string diagonally by using the s.remove, which is costly, this is not a good approach. What if instead we use a list, right? What if we construct the string as we go? And so one approach would be to use a stack, okay? So how would that work? Okay, so basically a stack, we're gonna use a simple list, but the sort of the idea behind the list is gonna try to represent a stack. Okay, so for instance, one approach would be you're here at the L, right? This is a normal character, so we append it to the stack because that's what we want to return, right? So we'll append an L here. We encounter an E. Okay, that's not a star. That's fine. We can just append it normally. This other E, so we continue the process. We encounter the T. Okay, that's fine. Now, so I just realized I'm gonna run out of space. I'm gonna put it down. Okay, better. And then we encounter this star right here. And then once we've done that, we see, oh wait, it's a star. Okay, let's pop the top element, right? Because at the end of the day, a star is the same thing as saying, well, remove the last element of the previous element of my string, right? That's a character, of course. And so we encounter this star right here, and we say, okay, well, there's a T here, so I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna pop it outside the stack, and then we simply continue. Okay, now we find another star. We go, okay, well, this star, that means that we have to remove the previous element, and so we remove the top element of the stack. So this would be this E, so this E would go away. Then we go to the C. These are normal characters, so we just put C. Then we see the O, we see, okay, that's also another normal character. Then we also append the D. Then we see, oh wait, there's a star here. All right, let me remove the top element. So let's get rid of that. And then we simply advance, and then we see the other guy, which is the E, and lastly, this is what we return, right? So that's sort of the idea behind stack. I think this problem is perfect for a stack problem because it kind of makes you think about ways we can use the stack techniques to solve these kind of problems. And also notice that whenever we pop an element, this is going to be of 1. It's very fast because all we do is like return, all we do is simply get rid of the last element of the stack, right? We don't have to go in a string and like modify it in place or like modify it half of it or whatever. No, we just get rid of the last element of the stack, and that's it. So that's pretty much the solution, right? Now I think it's good to first try the solution on your own. So try to code in Python, and then we'll go over the solution in a minute. Okay, we're back. I hope you had a time to solve the problem on your own, and now let's look at the solution. So first off, we said that we were going to use a stack, right? We can either use the Python stack library, or we can implement our own stack, so I'm going to do that instead. We're going to simply use a list to represent our stack. And then next up, we'll want to iterate through the string, right? So I'm going to say for I range flanfest. So now we're iterating through the string. And then basically the whole point is this stack is only going to contain actual characters. So characters that are not a star. Why? Because if we were to store the stars, the whole point is to remove their stars from the string, right? Because whenever we encounter a star, we want to remove the current star and also the last element, right? So therefore, by storing stars in our stack, we're not really winning anything. We don't want to do that. We want to have the actual characters that are going to be displayed to the user in our stack. So we'll want to make sure that we're only appending characters that are not a star. So I'm just going to say, well, if s of I, so if the current element is not a star, then okay, then I want to append it to my stack. So I'm going to do stack.append s of I. Great. So now basically we only have characters that are not a star in our stack. Okay. Then if we encounter a star, we want to get rid of the previous element, right? So all I'm going to say is else we'll pop it. Now, because you don't know what the pop function does, it basically gets rid of the last element of our list, right? So, you know, if you had here, let's say we had A, B, and C, stack.pop, this will return our C, and also it will get rid of the C. So ABC would turn into AB, okay? So this makes sense, right? Because if we have, for instance, L, E, E, and then we encounter a star, this star is only going to get rid of the last element, so this E right here. So we'll have LE, and thus getting what we want, right? So, okay, that sounds good to me. And lastly, we want to return the output, right? We want to return the result. Now, notice how this function, it takes a string, right? It wants us to return a string. So we cannot return the stack because the stack is a list. So we're going to use the join method. So I'm gonna say we're gonna use this separator in case you don't know what it is, and then we'll do string.join, and then we'll put the stack. And there we go. That sounds good to me. So let's submit it and see if it works. And indeed it works. So now let's kind of go through the runtime complexity in this case. So at the end of the day, we have a for loop. This is like the most expensive operation of our program. And what this is doing basically is we're iterating over a string, right? So assuming that our string has n elements, this is going to be of n. Hope this was useful, and let me know if you have any comments in the comment section below.